My stepfather gave me 30 days to move out, so I gave him 24 hours. My stepfather David had turned my mother's house into his personal trophy room, and I was the unwanted stepson he'd been scheming to eliminate since day one. He'd knocked my textbooks into puddles, hide my car keys before important interviews, and even tried cutting the brake lines on my bike. But in front of Mom, he transformed into the perfect gentleman and laughed everything off as accidents. The mask started crumbling the moment Mom got diagnosed. First, he convinced her to miss my college graduation because the travel might worsen her condition, and then posted photos from their Vegas trip that same weekend. When I got promoted to management at my firm, he sat her down for a family priorities discussion, suggesting they couldn't celebrate because of her treatment costs. That same week, he bought a new boat for his fishing trips. The real cruelty emerged when Mom entered the hospital. He restricted my visits to maintain her energy, allowing me 20-minute slots while he spent entire days there. I'd arrived to find him reviewing insurance policies with her while she was heavily medicated, guiding her hand to sign documents. When I questioned him about it, he told me, "Son, you're too emotional to handle complex financial matters like beneficiaries and assets." When I tried staying overnight once, he called administration, claiming I was creating a disturbance by quietly holding my mother's hand. The morning after Mom's funeral, while I was still in my suit and hadn't even opened the sympathy cards, David walked in spinning house keys like he'd hit the jackpot. "We need to discuss your housing arrangements. This property is mine now, and I believe it's appropriate you establish your independence. I'll allow you 30 days, which exceeds legal requirements. And honestly, son, you're a painful reminder of a chapter I need to close," he declared, not even feigning mourning anymore. He placed an eviction notice on the counter, already prepared and dated the day after the funeral. But what shattered me wasn't the eviction notice. It was when he stood there in my father's study, wearing my father's watch, and called me a painful reminder of a chapter I need to close. I looked at this man who'd spent 4 years playing devoted stepfather while methodically removing me from my mother's life, and something ice cold crystallized in my mind. If he wanted a battle over who belonged in this house, then I wouldn't just engage, I would demolish him completely. I smiled back and said, "We'll find out," which visibly rattled him. I spent the next 24 hours methodically searching through every document Mom had ever entrusted to me. Then I recalled the sealed envelope she gave me marked emergency only that I'd never touched. When I finally tore it open, I discovered everything. The property title, a prenuptial agreement, and a note in Mom's precise writing detailing how she'd been monitoring David's opportunistic behavior for years. I spent hours analyzing every document, marking the crucial passages, arranging them in the ideal sequence for devastating effect. The title first to prove ownership, then the prenup to destroy his legal claims, and finally the competency evaluation to prevent any challenges. David was so certain he'd manipulated my mom that I knew he would never anticipate this reversal, and I was correct. I returned to the kitchen the next day and detonated a bomb on David. "You were correct. Someone does need to relocate." Then I set the title on the counter and observed his expression shift from arrogant to bewildered to absolutely ashen. "This is my property. It has been for 3 years now." He grabbed the document and scanned it desperately while attempting to reject the truth. "This is impossible. I was her husband. I have entitlements." I produced the prenup next. The critical clause is highlighted in orange. "You have entitlement to the personal effects you entered the marriage with, plus the motorcycle Mom gifted you last birthday. That's all." His hands trembled as he dropped the papers. "You conniving bastard," he hissed. "You've been orchestrating this." I shook my head. "Not me. Mom orchestrated this. She understood exactly what you were." He jumped up, toppling his chair. "I'll challenge this. I'll hire attorneys." That's when I revealed the final document, a certified statement from Mom's physician verifying she was mentally competent when the trust was established. "Proceed, but you'll need to pursue it from elsewhere. I require you gone by tomorrow. That exceeds legal requirements." He started fake sobbing instantly. Performative wails. "Where am I supposed to go? I sacrificed everything for your mother," but I was already calling the locksmith and arranging an urgent lock change for that afternoon. By sunset, his golf clubs were stacked on the sidewalk, and David was bellowing from the street about family bonds and moral obligations, while the neighbors peered from their curtains. Eventually, he cursed my mother's memory and peeled out in his motorcycle. The next morning, I discovered his eviction notice in the garbage and had it framed. He told me to establish my independence. Turns out I already had.